The following podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Like what you hear? Want more of it ad-free, uncensored, and earlier? Sign up today at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and start getting more for as little as $2 a month.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event, where news and opinions on the sport of kings collide. WrestleMedia is proud to present The Wrasslun Show.
Welcome to The Wrasslun Show, part of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling, and wrestling is everything. I'm at Adam Conta. Matthew Sukram is off this week. We've got a great show for all of you listeners this week. We've got the one and only Billy Gunn and Hornswoggle on the program. We recorded these interviews at the Chinlock Wrestling Legends Convention back in Kingston, Ontario, when we went up for the Chinlock 5 weekend. Both guys, great interviews, some fun stuff with Billy Gunn talking about his kids, and Hornswoggle, we talked about his promotion out in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and how important that is for him. I loved interviewing both of these guys. We had a lot of fun with both of them. I can't wait for you guys to hear them, so stick around. You're going to get to those interviews in just a few minutes. First, though, I want to talk a little bit about our newsletter, because many of you heard about that when we were at the Chinlock weekend, and if you haven't yet, well, we encourage you to sign up over at WrestleMedia.ca. When you enter our website, you can see the big pop-up there that should let you sign up, and if you miss that, no problem. You can actually just click the little button that says newsletter at the top, and then you can sign up for free. Every single week, we'll send you a newsletter with all the latest news and all the highlights of the week for WrestleMedia. It's the best way to not miss a thing. Heck, if you were part of our newsletter last week, you would have seen a little sneak preview of something we got cooking on the YouTube side of things. And you also would have seen our contest that we have going on right now for you to win a copy of the brand new WWE home video release all about Lita and Trish Stratus. Good friends, better rivals. It's a cool collection. All we ask you to do is head over to our newsletter contest page, enter your information, and tell us what your favorite match is that's featured on the DVD set. And it's completely free and only for our newsletter subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe to that right now. Now, earlier I said something about YouTube. That's right. And if you didn't know, we have a YouTube channel, which we encourage you to go seek out, because not only can you get the YouTube versions of these podcasts, but also you can get some extra video content. We've got something brewing in the works right now that should be released very soon. So make sure that you go over there to our YouTube channel, you hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you know exactly when we've got a new video released. They're pretty much out released with the podcast, but also whenever we add something a little extra there, you're going to know about it. So go and check that out. All right, before we dive into the interviews with Billy Gunn and Swoggle, there's just something I just kind of wanted to bring up, a little thing I wanted to talk about. I had an idea while watching Monday Night Raw about the 24/7 title. Now, whether you love it or you hate it, there's no question that it's been a little bit of a boon for WWE, at least for their social media, their online presence, their YouTube channels. It's one of the highest watched segments that they do every single week. And obviously, one guy that's really capitalized from it has been R-Truth. He's gotten way popular because of it, and I'm happy about that. I like R-Truth, and I was happy when he was the U.S. champion, and I like what he's doing with the 24/7 championship. However, I feel like eventually they're going to have to let somebody else run with the championship. And I've been thinking about who that should be, and I've come up with a scenario that I think could really work, and I wanted to share that with you. So this week on Raw, we saw several guys win the 24/7 championship, and one of them that stood out for me was Cedric Alexander. You guys know I'm a big Cedric Alexander fan. I have been since his days at 205 Live, and I'd like to put the focus on him because I really think he deserves the shot. Now, I like a lot of the other guys that were chasing around for the championship, Eric Young, EC3, even Heath Slater, but I would like to see Cedric Young do this, or Cedric Alexander, because I feel like he's got an opportunity that a lot of those other guys don't, which is to kind of come in with a clean slate. The idea that I have came out of a question, which is, when everyone is fighting for the 24/7 championship, and eventually when they win the title, why does everybody run away? Now, that might seem like a stupid question because, of course, you're going to run away. You have like 7 or 8 guys all kind of fighting to get this championship. So there is a little modicum of self-preservation there. I understand that. But wouldn't it be something if one guy won the belt and stood their ground instead and said, I'm not going to be a coward. I'm going to fight everybody. I think that would make somebody stand out. I think that would make somebody special and different. And I'd like to see that guy be Cedric Alexander. He's a smaller dude, but he's really gutsy and tough. You know, he's got a fantastic move with that lumbar check. I think it would be really cool to have Cedric Alexander win the belt and then fight a couple guys off and then come out next week and say, hey, I'm not running from anybody. If anybody wants to take this title from me, come and get it. And then you could have a bunch of guys come on out and try to fight him, and somehow he continues to get the victories. And he gets the wins, and then he kind of leaves and says, okay, I've proven myself. I'm going to have matches for this thing. Now, you may think that takes all the fun out of it, with the idea being that the matches can happen anywhere. But I'm not saying that everything he does has to be in the ring, just a good starting point. Soon maybe he's out in the parking lot saying, hey, come take me out here. This is my challenge. I'm laying it down for you. Come take me out. You know, this could be something that WWE could kind of capitalize on. You know, they got a show in New York that day. Go to Central Park. Have Cedric Alexander call someone out and say, I'm going to be at Central Park at 2 p.m. Anybody wants to try me for this belt, you know where I'm going to be. I think that would be an incredible evolution for that character, or any character. I mean, you could give that to any of those guys. Eric Young would be a good guy to do that too. EC3 could make that work as well. Maybe not so much Heath Slater. But what do you think? Let me know. I'll put the question, I'll pose it to you at the end of this episode for our social media. But in the meantime, now that you've heard me yak on for a little bit, let's get into our interviews with Billy Gunn and Swoggle. Enjoy. Very, very pleased to be here with WWE Hall of Famer, current AEW.
What makes you pleased to sit here and talk to me?
Well, because you're a guy that I enjoyed watching growing up throughout.
All you interview guys say that. Like, what are you going to say? You're going to sit, hey, I'm sitting here with Billy Gunn. I, hated watching him when I was a kid. But, you know, same old thing.
I could switch it up if you want.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if you just went, hey, I'm sitting here. I don't know. What have you done in the business? Oh, Hall of Fame. Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm sitting here with some guy who's wearing a ring. I don't know what for.
Yeah. See, that's so much more honest.
Obviously, here with Billy Gunn, still got a great sense of humor, which is awesome.
I do have a great sense of humor because I am having so much fun in my career right now. Not that I've never had fun. It's just it was a little draggy there for a while, and now I'm having a blast. I get to come out here to Kingston, Ontario, Canada, wherever the hell that is, and get to sign stuff and then come meet all these people. People here have been awesome, by the way. They've just been amazing. So that's what I do it for.
It's got to be a pretty cool trip to have people come up to you all day long and just be like, oh, my God, like, I've grown up. Like, I saw that little girl get that picture, and she was shaking with excitement. How cool is that?
Yeah, well, it's super cool, and I never take advantage of that, nor do I take it for granted, or do I expect that. It's super cool because one day people are going to not do that, and then your feelings are going to be hurt. So if you, I never want anybody to ever meet me and say they had a terrible experience because that would absolutely crush me. But, the coolest thing is that everybody always goes, oh, my God, you are so big in person. Like, you never looked that big on TV. And I went, well, it's because when I was on TV, everybody was way bigger and we're actually men. So I was like, yeah, it's a whole nother level of stuff right now. So
it's cool that you're out doing a lot of different stuff. You've got the AEW gig right now, which is pretty neat. Let me ask you, how invigorating is it for you to take on that new role, something that you've never really had a chance to do with any of the other organizations you've worked for?
It's awesome because it's, when they approached me and they all, I was one of the first ones that they hired in the company other than Cody and all them getting together. But it was cool because they really wanted me on board and they thought that I could bring what they needed to AEW, and it's good. It makes you feel good at this, stage in my career that somebody actually values my opinion, because for so long my opinion was not valued. Like, we won't mention that company, but sometimes you feel like they take you for granted, or they just don't use you in the right capacity where you feel that you could do a whole lot more. I'm just one of those people. I like to be involved. I like to do a whole lot more, and I'll do whatever I can. And I think AEW is going to be amazing. I mean, we just put tickets on sale for All Out August 31st, and they sold out in 15 minutes. I mean, all of our stuff so far, yes, I understand it's new, but everybody's excited. They want something new. They want an alternative to WWE programming, and that's what we give them. And we give them an awesome product and guys that just go out there and do their own thing. So you get to go out there and do your own thing. If you fail, that's on you. It ain't got nothing to do with me, or it's got nothing to do because we put the machine behind you. You got to run it. We can't run it for you.
Of course, you were a big part of Double or Nothing. You got to be a part of the Battle Royal, which was pretty cool. Can I ask a little bit about like how that feeling compares to some of the other stuff that you've done? Is there a certain level of excitement that's comparable to some of the other things that you've accomplished in wrestling?
It's what it is. It's your excitement is the level of the energy from the people. And the people at these shows they're like, remind me of Attitude Era fans. If you ever have a chance, don't watch Attitude Era matches. Watch the people. They're insane. Dude, I went back. I was just telling my wife. I just went Hornswoggle. We won't say about that. So me and my wife, I went back and watched something. Somebody kept buzzing me about this match, and I forgot all about that. Austin threw this trash can clear across the ring, hit me in the head, flipped me over backwards. But it wasn't so much that, it was the people were insane. Like like people won't understand what I'm talking about, kinda. But when you're emotionally invested in a product, it's a whole nother level. Like, I feel that's where we can get with AEW, is have people emotionally attached to these people, to where I think, and I'm not saying they're not emotionally attached to WWE product, but it just seems like it's just the thing to do. It's just what's on TV, so let's kind of, but it's fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an awesome journey, and I can't wait, to see where it goes.
I want to talk about two moments specifically from your career that were huge heat getters. When you shaved off the hair for the Legion of Doom, and then when you threw Cactus Jack and Terry Funk off the stage. I want to ask, which event do you think brought more heat onto you?
I don't know if there's more heat or if it's notoriety. So I say the dumpster match, although doing the stuff with the Road Warriors is kind of what kicked us into gear, because they did an awesome job of helping us kind of go, okay, these guys are for real, and then they did what they were supposed to do. Kind of like when me and Brian went back and helped the Usos and worked the Rhodeses and all those. It was just to kind of kick the tag back into gear a little bit, and that was our role. And you have to understand that was their role, and they did an awesome job. But I think what put us on the map was the Terry Funk Cactus Jack thing. I mean, when we tossed him off the stage, everybody's face dropped, and they went, "Okay, I'll buy you now. I'm in." So so that's, like I always say. People ask, "What's your favorite match?" I don't know that that's my favorite match, but it is the match that put me and Brian on the map. So that's probably my favorite.
Now, I want to go way back, because I want to talk about you did rodeo before you got into wrestling, which is kind of interesting. And I'd like to know a little bit about how being in rodeo kind of helped prepare for pro wrestling.
It didn't.
Not at all.
It didn't prepare at all. Like, it did nothing for me. Like, it showed me how to get beat up and stabbed with things and things.
Did you get stabbed at a rodeo?
No. Well, it's just, you get hit with horns, because I rode bulls and stuff. And I'd done it from a little kid. I went to college doing it. I trained horses. I did all that. That's where my life was going. It was never going in a wrestling direction. I didn't even know what it was. I never watched it, never grew up liking it. I just thought it was the worst stuff ever on TV. And then I get into it, and then I can't get enough of it. Even today, I still can't. I've been doing this almost 30 years, and I can't get enough of it. It drives my wife insane because she hates wrestling.
Well, that's something you and I have in common. I never thought I would have something in common with Billy Gunn, but here we are.
Yes,
now, most people know you from working with BG James, obviously, but I want to talk a little about working in Japan with Yoshitatsu, because you guys were kind of together for a little while, and I just wanted to kind of recollect of that time.
That was like me being rockabilly. No, you know what? The good thing about that is I finally got to go over that. I wrote that off my bucket list. I'd always wanted to go over there and work. I'd been over there before with WWE, but it's not the same. I went over there and did the tag league with Yoshi. A little bit of a stretch, but I mean, I got to go over there and do what I wanted to do, and it was awesome. And they're an awesome organization. I can't say enough about them. And then got to do the G1 special in Long Beach, first one that they did. Worked Tanahashi, which was, there's another one that gets it right off my bucket list because I love him. Probably my favorite wrestler of all time. Like mine and my son's favorite. I just love him. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Like we have people that we attach ourselves to, and I just love everything about him. And that was awesome, and just working over there in that environment, and the people were awesome, and it was a great experience.
Are your kids really into wrestling? Do you guys get to
My
watch?
Youngest just got hired by ROH.
Really?
Yeah. So
congratulations.
yes. That's awesome. And he's amazing. He's going to be probably like here in the next few years, probably one of the biggest stars you'll see. And I'm not saying that because he's my kid. I'm saying that because he's that good. Like he has that thing that I couldn't teach him. He's more athletic than I am. 100 times more personality than I am. His work is amazing, and he's going to be unbelievable. He really is.
It's awesome to sit here and see you beam with pride talking about that, because I mean,
as great. Like my oldest doesn't. Like I love him to death too, and he has a different path. He lives in California, but he supports his brother also. So and I have some of the greatest kids on the planet, and my youngest wanted to do that. I never wanted them to get in the business ever, but he's good at it, and he loves it. So more power to him. Have
you had a chance to tag with him yet?
I have. Like his very first match, me and him tagged together. So we've done a couple things together. So that's amazing in itself. But I can't do anything because I'm so worried about watching him that I can't do any of my stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff, by the way, but what I do when I want to get my stuff in.
You're maximizing the minutes, right? I mean,
yes, that's it.
If it's over, you don't need a whole lot of bunch of different stuff. So I wanted to ask about, just touching again on being the father of an up-and-coming superstar, I mean, how do you ever have to restrain yourself, or do you give full-blown, like when you see something that you're like, oh, no, you got to make sure you do it this, or do you try to let him carve his own path? Like, where's the balance for you?
So anything work-wise, if I see something, I'll absolutely blast him. And it's not blasting him in a bad way. It's just so he doesn't get that, once you get a bad habit, and he really doesn't have any bad habits because there's only so much he's going to learn from me, and I understand that, but I wanted him, the first year of his career, I was very hands-on and very protective. I wouldn't let him go anywhere. Then finally I needed him to get away from me, so I sent him to Ken Anderson. I sent him to Luke Hawk's school because I trust those guys, and I know that they won't do anything crazy with him. And he has to get away from me. There's only I'm not a wrestling person. I'm a very entertaining person. The wrestling part is not me. He has to learn that, and he's not going to learn it from me. That's a fact. And I don't hide that either. But he needs to find his way. He will find his way. And he doesn't really depend on me, but he will use my help when he needs it, which, I mean, if you can get a hand from somebody, why not? You know what I mean? It's better than going out there. But he still puts in the work. So I got to, you have to give him credit for that. He still puts in the work.
How often do you guys actually get to sit down and watch matches together and just kind of enjoy wrestling?
I hate watching wrestling, and I will not watch it. But me and him train together every day. So if he has something he wants to talk about, but that is not something he really wants to do with me. We're not, he watches it with other people. He doesn't watch it with me because I watch it a whole nother way. And, I want to watch it as a fan, and I can't. So I watch it as a coach, and it drives me insane. So I just go, okay, I'm just not going to watch it anymore. So,
real quick, what's one piece of advice that you got early on in your career that you were anxious to pass on to this new crop of talent coming up?
Get a real job and don't do this. No, both my kids graduated from college, which was a must. That was always you can't do anything until you do that. So they both have degrees, so they both have stuff to fall. So if this doesn't work out for Austin, he has a teaching degree. He's a special education teacher, so he always has that to go to. I never had anything to fall back on. There's not like they're giving out, Social Security for ex-horse trainers. So I never had any of that, and I wanted them to make sure that they had that because he can do this, and then because he loves to teach. He really does, and he's good at it because he's so personable. I say that him and Brian are just alike, Brian Road Dogg, because there's something about those two that you have no idea why, but you just want to hang out with them because they're so cool. And I think that's what was so good about Road Dogg, is that's what made us work. It's because people attach themselves to him, and they do the same with Austin. So, I mean, it's super cool, and, you know, we hang out every day, so I'm almost tired of him. I can't wait for him to leave.
What else do your other kids do for
Colton is a supervisor of a big complex that they're building in L.A. It's for the Lakers and Yahoo. He builds stuff for them, so I mean he's pretty much set. He's all right. They got their stuff together.
Two different ends of the spectrum.
Yes, very much so. But the cool thing is I get to go to L.A. all the time and see them because I love going out there and working out with Mike O'Hearn and them at Gold's Gym. So he trains with him every day. So I go out there me and Austin will fly out there every month or so and just kind of get our workouts in and come home. So that's kind of cool.
Do you and your son push each other in the gym?
We do. He pushes me more than I push him. Like, for some reason, I don't know why. But he's just pissing me off because he's getting really strong. It's and I so want him not to be. like I'm like, oh, my God, I'm getting so old. He's catching up with me.
Real quick, who's one guy in AEW we got to keep our eyes on?
Like everybody. I think MJF. I think he's kind of the sleeper. When he kind of gets everything together, I think he'll be really good.
I want to try to make this different. So, Billy Gunn, this was not memorable at all. This was total crap interview.
It needs honesty.
Your love of the Muppets is pretty well documented for a lot of people. I wanted to ask, did you have a chance to see the Happy Time Murders? And as kind of a fan of the family and the Hensons and whatnot, what was your opinion on it if you saw it?
I have not. Part of me wants to and part of me doesn't. I've heard very mixed reviews on it. So I think I'm going to skip it.
I think that's kind of fair. You're entitled to do that for sure.
I know, but I've never seen even Dark Crystal, Labyrinth. I've never seen any of those. They don't interest me. It's not the Muppets. Fozzie Bear and Animal aren't in there. It's just weird-looking birds. I don't want that. It's like Lord of the Rings mixed with vultures. I don't care about that.
You're here at Chinlock doing some stuff. You're going to be working with RJ City. I wanted to ask, since you're doing more independent stuff now, what's the biggest difference for you in terms of like the things you enjoy about working the independents?
It's a hustle. But it's fun for me. I have to hustle. I realize like next week I don't have any show. I have a Thursday show and that's it. This week I had 3 shows. And then the week after I have 2. It's just constant, but I need that hustle. And then I realize if I have a weekend off, okay, there's no money coming in that week. All right, now I got to work double the next week maybe, but it all works out. But it's fun, man. I love professional wrestling. I just love wrestling. So to be able to do this is still have fun and work with my dad, Tommy Dreamer. It's just fun for me, and I truly love it.
Can we talk a little bit about that, where that relationship kind of started? Because I love watching you guys and listening to you guys work together. You guys have a real special kind of relationship, and I just wanted to kind of ask where that kind of started with you guys.
I will text him tomorrow on Father's Day, literally saying Happy Father's Day. I don't know, like it got random. He hired me, and then it just, like on the road together, we traveled together forever. A lot of debauchery. Can't talk about publicly. But it's we just always had a good relationship. And then when I got released, he was one of the first people to say, it's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. And I'm on as many House of Hardcore shows as I can be because I just love being around him. I bring him to my company every year for the anniversary show. Every year. Mainly because I want to hang out with him. And now it's become a tradition back home. And it's just, he's awesome. He's literally my wrestling dad. He's taken care of me quite a bit. Whenever I had issues, if I had issues while I was with WWE, I would call him. Say, hey, I'm not having, this isn't fun. What do I do? Stop. You're going to be okay. You have a child. Just keep, don't be stupid, he would say. Don't be stupid.
Okay.
That's all I needed to hear.
That's a pretty good Tommy Dreamer impression, I'm not going to lie. You've cultivated that.
Yeah, being around him that much, it's very monotone. He doesn't really have emotion.
I wanted to ask, one of the things that you've mentioned in previous interviews is about the most rewarding thing that you've done in WWE is when you meet kids who are particularly fond of you and your character and whatnot. Is there any one interaction or maybe even a couple that really stand out for you as being particularly memorable or special?
Sadly, no. Sadly, it's just like every time it happens, it's the coolest thing ever. Just it means a lot to me every time, and now it's like mixed generations are into me. My son has friends that like me, and then this 86-year-old, couple comes up to my table. It's just stuff like that. It's just this business is so weird, but it's so awesome.
Jan, the promoter's here. Jan, you got something to say?
I think he's gonna kick me out.
To sign a bunch of these for us.
Yeah, that's fine. We can wrap this up. We can.
Here, I can do it. I can talk. I can sign and talk. I know my name.
Okay, man. I just didn't want to take it away.
Chew bubblegum at the same time, though.
I won't make you do that. No problems there. So tell us a little bit about your promotion then. Let's get some plugs in here.
ACW Wisconsin at ACW_Wisconsin on Twitter. ACW Wisconsin on Facebook. It's man, we're the only company in Wisconsin, only independent company to run an arena. Wow. Which is incredible. It started in December of 6 years ago, 2013. And it's just keeps growing. Legitimately, it was a idea out of boredom because I was off the road from WWE, and I go, "Hey guys, let's run a company. Let's run a show." All right, just one. And then that one did it really well, so we just kept going. And then a year later, I was, "Hey guys, I want to open a school because I'm bored." So now 4 years later, we have our school. It's fun for me, and it's just it's literally a cult thing in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Like, that's the thing to do. Whenever we have show on those Fridays, every other month, that Friday night, go to wrestling. And it's Wisconsin is a very drinking state, and Oshkosh is a very drinking college town. So I wanted to do something where people could bring their kids on a Friday night to actually do something all together as a family. And I could, if I wasn't doing it, I could bring my kid to watch it. And didn't have to go to a local bar to see the same local band that we've seen 9 times in this year. It's fun. It's fun for all of us. And it's all local. We only bring guests in twice a year for the most part. Just crazy. It's growing. And it keeps growing. And we don't know where it's headed. And that's the scary but awesome part.
You mentioned opening up a school. What's been the most rewarding part about training and prepping the next generation?
Their first match, me and my best friend who runs it with me, whenever we see their first match, we're behind the curtain like 2 dads, which we are, 2 dads watching their kid ride their bike for the first time. And it's like, oh God. Oh, he's going to fall. No, he's okay. Oh, he's going to fall. No, he's okay. So it's, but yeah, it's awesome.
What were some of the challenges that you've encountered being a promoter that maybe you weren't expecting when you first broke in?
Flight cancellations.
Does that happen a lot?
Twice, but there are 2 big ones.
Did you have a backup plan or anything?
No. No, I didn't.
You just had to bite the bullet.
And the issue is I live in a very small town, and we run in a very small town. So there's only like 10 flights into there a day. So you ain't getting in. But we made it work, and it ended up working out. So it's just running with the punches. I'm always one to think about the negatives. Think this is going to be a really bad show. There's going to be no one here, and be surprised rather than there's going to be 300 people here and there'll be 50. Because then I'm let down. You don't want to be let down in life. So I think like, oh man, my flight tomorrow is going to get canceled. I have to drive home from Chicago probably. It's going to suck. But then I make it. It's okay.
You keep the bar lowered pretty low, and then that way you can't be disappointed.
You can always be happily surprised in life.
Has being a promoter and a trainer taught you anything differently about being a performer yourself, or has changed your perspective on anything about being a performer?
Don't be a... It's really, like... In all reality, being a decent human being is really easy. Being a is actually hard. Being a takes effort. Don't be a... It's simple.
What have you got on the horizon right now that fans should be looking out for, that we should get excited about, or that you're working on you can tell us about?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I am a #1 best-selling pre-order author on Amazon.com.
Really? Tell us about that.
My book, Life's Short and So Am I, comes out September 10th. I'm very, very excited. It's 3 years of work. Finally, it's paying off, and it's going to be awesome. Final edits were in last week. It's crazy.
Is it a collection of road stories, or is it more of a biography? What can fans expect from it?
Autobiography and then some. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things people don't know, obviously, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, that sucks." Oh, that's pretty cool, but just in life. Go ahead.
You've done some work as a stand-up. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or was that something you had to work at?
Oh, it's the most nerve-wracking thing every time I do it.
Really?
I've done 7 now, and in 2 weeks I'm opening for Ziggler for 2 nights in a row back home. That one scares me most because it's back home, and my buddies are coming, and I can't my buddies just look at me as Dylan, and they already don't they already know my stories. So that's gonna be I gotta try to make them laugh. This is gonna suck a lot. So it's nerve-wracking because if a match goes wrong, I can at least blame the other guy. My joke doesn't get over, it's my fault. But it's fun. I love doing it. I really become a passion. I really love doing it.
What is it about it that charges you?
I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't know, but it's just when I do well, it's oh, that was really fun. I want to do it again, and when it doesn't go well, it's nah, I'm never doing this again. Nope, not touching it, not going near one of these ever again. But it's so far it's gone really well, and I hope to keep doing it. It's a lot easier on my body.
I can imagine so. We talked about your acting a little bit earlier.
I mean, essentially almost an Oscar winner.
Do you plan on doing some more acting and getting more of those kind of gigs in the future? Or would you like to do more of that stuff in the future?
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. That's a hard when you live in small town Wisconsin. That's a hard thing to do. But I would love to do it still.
Awesome, man. What's 3 things you're looking forward to this year?
The book. Book. Literally, that's the only thing I can think of right now.
Well, I mean, you said 3 years of work into it. I mean, that's a pretty huge accomplishment. So.
Yeah, I just want people to enjoy it, and I think they will.
I'm sure they will too, man. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it, man. This was awesome. Thank you very much.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today. Well, there you have it. 2 great interviews from 2 WWE legends, Billy Gunn and Swoggle. I want to thank both of those guys for giving us a little bit of their time at the Chinlock Legends Convention. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you listeners tuning in, and you definitely want to make sure you're tuning in next week, especially if you signed up for our newsletter, because next week here on the Wrasslun Show, everybody's name gets put into a big drum, and we are going to draw our winner for the pair of SummerSlam tickets. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So if you haven't yet done so, sign up for our newsletter over at WrestleMedia.ca. click on that newsletter button, sign up. It's free. And if you really want to, you can just cancel after you get that first newsletter in, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's the best way to stay up to date with what's happening with WrestleMedia. So go and do that and get in on this incredible contest. A pair of tickets. Can't speak right now, apparently, but a pair of tickets. Great for a podcast, right? Guy not being able to speak. You can win 2 tickets to SummerSlam, biggest wrestling show of the summer. Check it out. Check out our newsletter and get in on the contest because you can't win it unless you're in it. And hey, speaking of great shows, don't forget this Saturday, Queen Street Entertainment presents Pro Wrestling Live in Renfrew. And the stars that are going to be on this show, Cecil Nix and Addie Starr teaming up to take on Shane, Sabre, and Alexia Nicole. We recently got some time with Addie Starr for Women Crush Wrestling. She's going to be a part of the program very soon, so keep your ears out for that. We're trying to work on getting together with Alexia Nicole this weekend to talk with her. Cecil Nix has agreed to come on our show here, the Wrasslun Show, but I'm pretty sure he's prefaced by saying that if he is on the show, he doesn't want to talk about wrestling at all. So it may be the first ever time on the Wrasslun Show where we don't talk about anything wrestling related, at least with a guest. So keep your ears open for that one. It's going to be a great show and a great contest. Get your tickets now if you haven't yet, and if you're there, we'll see you. Come on over, swing by, say hello, and we'll chat a little bit of wrestling for you. If you have not yet liked and followed us on social media, you can do so right now. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. We want you to take some time and answer our question of the week, which is, who would you like to see get a lengthy run with the 24/7 championship? Earlier in the episode, I told you about what I'd like to see done with Cedric Alexander and using that title as a way to elevate him. I'd like to know what you think of that idea, and what ideas do you have? Who do you think deserves another shot? Maybe you're like Drake Maverick, man. This is his big chance. And you know what? You wouldn't be wrong. If you liked what you heard today, please rate and review us on iTunes. Obviously, 5-star ratings are the best, and a positive review would help us in the algorithm. Most importantly, though, share the podcast. Just tell a friend or a family member about it, or even a stranger that you overhear talking about some wrestling. Tell them if they love the sport of kings, as I've heard it called. Then tell them that you're going to love WrestleMedia. Check out all the shows that we have here every day on WrestleMedia.ca. And if you really liked what you heard, please go and support us financially over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. For just a few ducats in the bucket each month, you can get cool stuff like early access, extra length episodes, and a whole lot more. You may even get a chance to program the shows a little bit, decide how and what we talk about here at WrestleMedia. And speaking of our patrons, if you are one of our lucky patrons that contributes every month, first of all, thank you very much. Secondly, stick around. After the break, we're just going to jump into some extra bonus material. We're just going to sit and chat a little bit about wrestling. For those of you listening to us for free at WrestleMedia.ca, thank you as well. And we'll see you next week here. And until that time, for WrestleMedia, I'm at Adam Conta, and you know what to do. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.
Here's what you're missing out on right now over at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. Now, Rollins decided to try and take a shot at him saying, I'm sorry, little guy, we already have a better version of you here, and he just won his first U.S. title tonight. Congrats, King Ricochet. Keep working hard, though, buddy. So Ospreay was kind of like, he put out a gift and said, ooh, you're hard. And I don't know, everyone's like, oh, he got schooled. All right, fine. I think they both look like idiots.
Want more? Sign up now at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca.